Hello there, welcome to the Huddleland. So today I'm going to showcase some random tips that will potentially help you win, emphasis on potentially, and I'm just going to get straight into it. Tip number 1 is to keep an eye on mana vaults. First off, they have good loot, but you can also use them as a radar. Simply note where the closest ones are to you, and if you see them disappear on the map, that means you know somebody opened them. It's actually come in useful a couple times. That said, it's just more of an awareness thing, and more information of where enemies are is always useful. Side note, when you first spawn into the sky, look around for other players. Your full speed isn't affected to my knowledge, and it's useful to know if you're isolated or about to be in a fight. Tip number 2 is interesting one. You can stand in trees, and that is kind of useless and useful at the same time. So if you need to go AFK or something, you want a place to hide, I guess a tree's not a bad place. Most of them you are pretty visible, but it's the case that not many people stand in a tree that will make you invisible. I've actually won a game by doing this. I went AFK and sorted out the dog, said goodnight to my mum, and then came back, almost died to the storm, and won the game, which was really odd. Yeah, on to number 3. Tip number 3, which is kind of just information. Tempest and Conduit have fall-off damage, and they are the only elements with it, if you don't include range. And on that topic, Lightning, Ice, and Fire, if I would have to guess, don't have a range cap. That said, I haven't tested past 175 meters. Wind evaporates at 80 meters, and Toxic also evaporates, but I didn't get an accurate measurement. And Stonebreaker is capped at 85. Pretty much don't use Toxic, Wind, or Stone past 45 to 80 meters, and use Wind and Lightning within 20 meters, I'll say, is their most effective damage. Tip number 4. Frostborn's Sorcery, Flash Freeze, will block the projectiles from Pyromancer, Tempest, and Conduit, aka Fire, Wind, and Lightning. You can counter that by attacking from above or below, because Flash Freeze only makes a donut shape that will block basic attacks. Stone and Ice remain unaffected, and then Toxic changes the spray into icicles, which so far I can only tell that it reduces, doesn't allow it to make puddles, but it still does damage. Tip number 5, this one most people will probably know. Invisibility will only be broken if you enter combat, so taking damage or casting basic attacks and or sorcery, but everything else won't, so feel free to heal, raise a teammate, open a chest, equip stuff, read scrolls, open mana vaults, etc. Tip number 6, both the Wolf's Blood rune and the Invisibility rune buff your movement speed. Invisibility gives you a +3, which is equivalent to rare boots, and Wolf's Blood gives you a +4, which is equivalent to epic boots. And it does stack on top of legendary boots. That said, invisibility is probably useless if you're trying to use that to outrun the storm, because, as said in the previous tip, when you take damage you get taken out of invisibility. A little side note, Wolf's Blood counters invisibility. The only reason I say that is because I've noticed a lot of people rocking invis. So, those were some of the random tips that I thought I should share. No clue if they will be helpful, but I thought I should share them anyway. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel and you like what you see, consider subscribing and try to cover a variety of games. Emphasis on try. And so yeah, I'll catch you all later. Peace.
I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf.